Welcome back, everybody, to His Heartbeat. We got another great episode. Would I fail you? Never, never, never. We're in the 200 something or another, 50, 60, 70 episode, and they're all great, right? So we're going to have another good one with Amy Bel Bruno. Thank you for being with us, Amy.
Oh my gosh, Sue, thank you so much for having me. I feel
Yeah,
just an honor to be here.
well, she's already given me some health tips, so you know this is going to be good. And we've only been talking for a few minutes, so you got a lot of wisdom, girl. I appreciate that. So I thought,
Awesome.
okay, we are having a lot of shows on health, which I'm being pretty purposeful in right now as we're going into the summer and we're all actually thinking about our health, I hope. And going to get vacations, take some time off, be out in the sun, do all these good things, but we have to show off our bodies. And I don't know, people just think about it more. And I think this is a great time of year to focus on it. So today, though, Amy, tell us a little bit more about your background, but then we're going to focus a lot on the heart.
Yeah, the heart is one of my favorite subjects and is a very personal subject to myself. So a little bit about me. I am a functional health coach. So I focus on root cause healing with clients. And so basically that word's out there a lot now, but basically it is we all can take a diagnosis or have something going on in our health, but instead of just saying, okay, that's it. I help clients go after the why. Why is that going on with your body, and where does it stem from? And so that's what I do. My background before, I've always loved and been into health and wellness space, but I worked in television for many years before I just went after my passion. And that was great, but it was a very hard lifestyle. And on the side of that, I was always, I was a marathon runner, always loved health and wellness. And so that was my calling and passion all the time. But I had gone to college to be in journalism, so I went that route before I finally
Mm.
went back to school and became a board certified health coach to do this. My own health journey kind of has really just played a part in why I love the heart so much and why I want to help others. So I developed an arrhythmia that I didn't realize I had. I was starting to feel like I was going to pass out. My heart would be racing. I didn't know what was going on. Note to everybody, I always say this, if something feels off, please get yourself checked out because I waited for a long time because I was indestructible. I'm healthy. I'm an athlete. I can't have something wrong.
And how
And so
old were you when you started
40,
having that?
I was 48.
Okay.
And so long story short, I ended up having to get everything analyzed, and they caught that I had a atrial fibrillation. And so, I had to go treat that. It's very serious. And my heart would go up to 200 and something beats a
Ooh,
minute when I was just sitting. So,
wow.
I'm a runner, so I'm used to my heart going fast. But when you're not running and your heart's going that fast, it's not good. So I became very passionate on not only about my health journey and healing my heart, but then of course helping others in any way I can to get to the root cause of their healing.
So did they find the problem and start moving you in the right direction, or did you have to hop around to find someone who could really help?
Yeah, and this gets into kind of a controversial conversation for some people, depending on what your beliefs are. So I will always preface it by saying I have nothing but respect for Western medicine. And in that moment, they helped me a lot, but they know what they know and they don't know what they don't know. And what they know is to prescribe, to offer surgeries, and that's about it. They don't look at the lifestyle. And
Mhm.
I now know there's a lot of great Western medicine doctors who are understanding the mind-body connection and the food and the lifestyle connection, but overall, most of them don't.
Yeah.
And so it was very much like you need these medications and you need to have a surgery, and that's kind of basically your options at this
Mm.
point. And so to put out the fire, so to speak, I did what they call an ablation for the heart. And then I also went on some rhythmic control medication. And they recommended a blood thinner at the time. I no longer take that, but the ablation did not work for me. It can work for many people. It did not work for me.
What is
And
that?
They basically go and they look in your heart to try to find it's an electrical problem when you have an arrhythmia. And
Mm,
so if you think you have clogged arteries, that's where you go to a cardiologist. If you have an arrhythmia, anything electrical, you need to go to an cardiologist, because those guys know the electrical. But basically, it's the
okay.
heart sending off mixed messages to saying, "Hey, go fast, do this." So what they do in ablation, they go in and they try to burn those areas of your heart so that
Oh,
that message isn't sent anymore.
oh,
Didn't work for me. So I have then spent all the rest of my time finding all the natural approaches and supplements, natural supplements, and that has worked very well for me. Do I say I don't have it anymore? No, because once your heart has had that turned on, it can come back anytime. It's like anything. If you have diabetes, you better keep that sugar in control, right? Your glucose in control, because it lies in wait and wants to have something happen. Same with this. I'm constantly working at it, and it's beyond just the supplements and the food I eat. It was learning to regulate my nervous system, calm down and get out of fight or flight mode and not be in a sympathetic state, but be in a parasympathetic state. It's a whole picture and that's not just for the heart. That's my journey. That is a
right.
tool I use with clients for every part of their healing journey.
Right, right. Yeah, I know my daughter talked about that in an episode of getting out of fight or flight. Yeah, so that's good. All right, so yeah, tell us more about Health Heart because, lots of people struggle with that and they don't know
Mhm.
where to go with that. So how does functional medicine um come alongside and help to bring healthy hearts?
Yeah, well, first I'd like to just say that, it is a silent killer. It is the number one heart disease is the number one killer amongst women. We tend to ignore
Mm,
ourselves the most when it comes to our health and wellness because we take care of others. And this is not to down men because they're fantastic and they do a great job, but we as mo mothers and wives and sisters and family, we tend to put ourselves last. But it is not there. The scary thing about the heart issues going on today is it's not just of people that are older. We're seeing a lot of very young women developing
mm,
PCOS, developing heart arrhythmias, young athletes. Um, so this is something to take serious very early on. And so it is, I would say one of the most important things you can do to take care of yourselves is take a look at your heart. And you can there's some really specific tests now. Again, we all have insurance, and we don't all have money to pay out of pocket for tests, but they're making them a lot more affordable to get more detailed tests because most of our tests that are done by our Western medicine doctors are not really even scratching the surface and revealing a problem that would be there. Just, they're very helpful, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of functional tests that go deeper and look for high, more markers that will tell you, hey, you got something going on. I'll use cholesterol as an example. Most of the time we're getting our triglycerides, our LDL and our HDL, but that doesn't tell us the big picture of what's going on with our cholesterol. And, often people are put on statins. That's it. You're on a statin, you're on a statin. Well, most people don't need to be on the statin. If we find out what's going on, if you look at their particle size and what we want is fluffy cotton candy cholesterol floating around our system, right? But when people have what they call ApoB or they have LP little a, those are like BB guns and they're little BBs and they're going in your and they're sticking to the walls of your arteries, and that is where a problem can develop. And so we need to be armed with the information to make sure we know if we are at risk properly for cardiac issues. And there's a lot of natural things to help with that, but knowledge is power on that. And so just getting the right functional tests that are going to reveal the type of inflammation you have in your body, and what's going on with the heart is key. And so I encourage people to look deeper into those kind of tests, and they're getting more affordable. There's a lot of great people out there trying to make these tests, accessible to everyone. just Dr. I have no affiliation with him, but Dr. Mark Hyman has Function Health, and he has such great deals for people out there to get further testing. So, and there's a lot of practitioners out there doing this now, trying to help people get the right testing. Again, absolutely go to your doctor, ask them once you know what you're looking for to get tested on, see if they can do it for you. Some doctors are awesome and they'll fight hard to get it, but they also are up against insurance and getting insurance to approve
Yeah.
what can be covered. But yeah, I would just say that, and then the heart also comes down to lifestyle, really, and we can talk more about that too.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you want? Because there's a lot of talk right now about cholesterol. I have to watch my correct cholesterol and, you know, trying to cut out certain foods. And
Mhm.
so what would you recommend to have a healthy cholesterol level?
Yeah, so the one I mentioned to you, and I will tell you about the marker, the LP little a, that is usually from genetics. And that is something, if you measure high on, you want to take that really serious. And there's a lot of natural ways to address that. But that one is definitely something you've inherited. And now is something to be honest, to all lifestyle, and it's much more hard to get that down if you just have